some of those. They already.
Call this meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order at 6:23. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen.
Here.
Mayor Murphy.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Doherty.
Here.
Mr. Burchett.
Here.
Mrs. Witt.
Here.
Ms. Marcus.
Here. We have the approval of the minutes from the Committee of the Whole meeting on June 13th. Nobody has any changes or corrections. They will be approved as they are. Hearing none, they are approved. Acting Finance Director,
I have nothing.
Manager,
I have no items, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
Mayor.
I have nothing. Thank you.
I have one request this evening. That's for an executive session at the end of this meeting with no business to follow for matters pertaining to terms of employment and compensation with respect to bargaining unit employees, and also terms and conditions and compensation of employment with respect to public employees.
I'll make a motion that we have an executive session after this meeting pursuant to what you have listed with no business to follow.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Allen.
Yes.
Mrs. Witt.
Yes.
Mr. Burchett.
Yes.
Mr. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes. Is that all? Clerk of Council,
I have nothing. Thank you, Ms. Marcus.
move to business. The first item is the LB Road Bridge replacement.
Yes, I'm going to help out, excuse me, I'm going to try to help out engineering a little bit here by providing a little bit of historical information. So there is a memo in your packet. It's from our engineering consultant regarding the design cost for the LB Road Bridge, which is starting to deteriorate and does need to be replaced. So back last year, we were able to successfully apply and secure a grant for the construction of the LB Road Bridge in an amount roughly around $700,000. I believe last November is when we passed legislation for that. Again, the project is slated for construction in 2026. Part of that overall project, though, is the city has to take on the design costs for the project. And our engineering consultant, with the direction of ODOT, solicited for the design services, and the fee proposal recommended, with assistance from ODOT, is Fishbeck Engineering at a total cost of $265,745. This design cost is significantly higher than the engineering capital budget amount of $100,000. So there was no anticipation that the design would exceed $100,000. Again, that amount was recommended when we were going through the budget and the capital process for engineering. Because of the pending construction grant that I just spoke about for 2026, engineering is still recommending that the city move forward with the design project by utilizing the existing funds from the 2024 capital budget, which is $100,000, along with a capital transfer of some remaining dollars that don't need to be used in the amount of $16,528, which is available in the engineering parking lot paving line, and then budget the remaining $149,217 for design completion in the 2025 capital budget. In working with the law director, we've determined that we could move this forward. However, I guess the way I would say it is we're requesting legislation to allow the transfer of engineering capital funds this evening to support entering into an agreement for the design services, provided the needed modifications to the professional services agreement are made. Those modifications include, which we do not have this evening, but we would anticipate that we would get them over the next 2 weeks. Those modifications include identifying and separating the costs for 2024 and 2025, and addressing some indemnification and attorney fee provisions that have been identified by the law director that we cannot adhere to that's currently in the contract. So if we can get those revisions done, and then also have them identify in the professional services agreement that $149,217 would come out of the 2025 budget, we could move forward. So again, two pieces of legislation. One would be for a transfer, and then the other would be for the allowance to sign the agreement to do the design work.
What attributes with that big difference?
You know, Shirley, quite honestly, in speaking to Alicia, she indicated that she's just as surprised as I am. She doesn't understand why the costs are that high. And in speaking with Lauren as well, we're kind of taken aback on that. ODOT has been involved in this as well, and Fishbeck does do good work. They've done a lot of work in this region. They also help provide assistance in applying for the grants. But there's really nothing that's standing out that's indicating why it's more than double the
Anybody
original
ask them?
estimate. I did, and Alicia, Alicia did, and I asked Alicia, and they're just indicating that there's a little more work that needs to be involved because of how antiquated the old, so I don't know if you know where I'm talking about on LB. It's almost like a culvert type thing. You don't really know it's a bridge. And because of the age of that and how far back they have to go on the road, there's just more design work and criteria aspects that need to be met. So that was the best explanation that we had.
Are they the only people that bid it?
Um,
We usually ask for 3.
Yeah, no, ODOT is the one that solicited, so I don't know how many was received. I can find that out, and I can share that with council.
I would just be surprised that a company would more than double and they can't give you a plausible
Well,
explanation.
I think that unfortunately at the time, when it was providing the capital budget, that wasn't probably the most accurate number either. I don't know how much additional work may have been done from the engineering perspective to understand. They didn't anticipate it to go over $100,000, but again, I don't have much of an explanation for you, unfortunately.
I'd like to know.
What I do know is that they solicited, ODOT is the one that handled and solicited the process and helping, and that's the, Fishbeck is the one that's being recommended.
How urgent is it that we take action tonight?
I don't, you know, part of the project, design work needs to start in 2024, but I don't think there's an immediate urgency. And we are waiting for some additional information and clarification on dollar amounts, which are identified in the memo. So I know part of the project needs to get started in 24 and in 25 because the construction grant's in 2026. But I don't know if it's so immediate that it couldn't be
I wonder if it'd do any
tabled
good to
until.
reach back out to them and say, council wants to know why. Because, well,
165,000.
yeah, that- I mean, we're
It's
not
two,
talking-
it's 2.5 times the.
we're
Yes.
not
The
talking
original.
20,000.
Do we have to go through ODOT? It's not their road, it's our road.
No,
But they
correct,
don't
but
pay.
they are the ones
They don't
helping
pay.
providing the
Yeah.
funding and
Yeah,
all
we
of
have to go
that,
through.
so.
But I'd like to,
They're a piece of the puzzle.
I'd like to, at least, we always ask for 3
I'm
bids.
soliciting, I'm sure that they got that.
Okay.
They had to go, again, they did solicit for the project. or
I'd like to know
We
who the others
solicited
were.
with the assistance of ODOT is a better way to put it.
We find out who they
Sure.
were and what
I'll-
they offered.
I'll provide that information to you. Happy to do that.
Going to table this item at this time? Need a voice vote to table it?
I make a motion that we table this item to a further date.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes. The next item is the ODOT urban paving.
The city engineer will be handling this one.
The city has coordinated with the Ohio Department of Transportation, also known as ODOT, to secure the paving of State Route 741 from North Lawn Avenue to I-75 in 2026. The program is administered by ODOT. The project is funded at 80% of the construction cost by ODOT and requires the remaining 20% be funded by the city. The city's expected portion of this project is $211,200 and will be budgeted for 2026. The draft legislation was provided by ODOT and is required to secure this project for 2026. It is recommended that this legislation be approved by council to secure this much-needed improvement in the city of Moraine and ensure the long-term life of State Route 741 within the city limits.
I'll make a motion that we have legislation prepared for the ODOT urban pavement from North Lawn to I-75, 741.
Yes.
Questions or please.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes. Third item is the West Carrollton Schools SRO agreement for the 2024 to 2025 school.
Yes, ma'am. The West Carrollton Schools and the Police Department would like to continue the relationship we've had the last 2 years. It's proved to be very successful. So we've come back to council each summer to get your blessing to continue that, because it is although they pay for his salary, it is an extra spot that we added at one point. So we'd like to continue that. The MOU that you have in your packet is last year's MOU. It was just used as an example. They got us this current year, this coming up next year, this current year's MOU today. It is substantially similar. There won't be any changes, practical changes to what we do. Everything should work the same. I can answer any questions anybody has.
Do you have any questions?
I'd like to make a motion to enter into the agreement with West Carrollton for the SRO.
Thank you.
Got other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes. The last item is the Wax Park site grading discussion update.
Yeah, so a couple months ago, we came to you, talking to you about that area where we tore all the concrete up, kind of just right past outside where National Night Out is. You guys kind of asked us what the street department could do, or if we could find a different avenue of trying to get that area fixed. So me and Chris got together, and we just wanted to see, see what Chris could get done. He also, we had H&S Excavating Grading come out to give us an estimate, which came back under the budgeted amount. They estimated the cost to be around $89,650. In that account, in that capital budget line, we still have $107,000 left in there. If you remember before, I think the estimate came out to like $231,000, which was obviously way more than what we were anticipating, just because they were going to be doing everything. So Chris and the street department, I don't know if you want to elaborate, but there are some things that they can do. That's what's going to help make that cost come down significantly. If you want to kind of say what you can do about it.
So the last company that was going to do the work, there is a drain that's there now that's already installed. It just needs to be deeper than what it is now. We already have one of those drains, the whole system, basically from another job where we had purchased that we were going to use and we didn't, so we've just kept it because we knew down the road somebody would need it. So that's a huge savings there. For some reason, the last company had in the bid to remove like between 8 and 10 trees, to cut them down in that area and remove them. This company that came out said, absolutely, you do not need to remove any of the trees. We can do all the grading without removing the trees. So that was a huge savings. All of the concrete area that was along the old bathhouse that went up and was in front of the old concession stand, that was in the original bid to have cut, removed, and hauled away. Since we have already done that, we've cut it, we've hauled the concrete away and removed it, so that was a huge savings. And then also, we have basically stockpiled dirt that will work to grade that and to use that, so we don't have to purchase any dirt, and that's going to save quite a bit of money. The only thing that they asked of us was they're going to provide the dozers, the excavators, and all that. They just asked, I think it would take like a day or two, if we could use 2 of our trucks to haul the dirt down there from our property and just dump the dirt, and they would move it around. That is a huge savings because they don't have to pay somebody to haul the dirt for them. But that's basically where a lot of the savings come from. I was happy to hear that we don't have to cut the trees down because we've lost enough trees down there.
Right.
But this is nothing that's going to impact any future plans with the site, because the drain that is going in It's just replacing a drain that's there. It's just going to go deeper in the ground to hold more volume. It's not going to be anything that will, down the road with the master park plan or anything like that. We made sure to talk with them about that, and what the future might be there, and we didn't want to do anything that might hinder that. But I was kind of thrown back with how much cheaper it really was than the other bid, but I think it would really make that area look nice to get that finally graded and good grass growing in there and draining the way it should.
So I want to step in and clarify, they're referring to an estimate, not an actual bid, and they, in talking with me, they know that this would have to go to bid because of the
Right.
cost. And we've talked, and I'd shared with Chris that the services that we could provide will have to be identified in the bid so that any contractor would know they would gain that same benefit. And then they could provide the proposals. But this, again, this estimate falling under budget gives some hope that, maybe we should go to bid and see what we get. Again, outlining all of the services that we'll be able to do internally to help with the reduction on some of those costs. So it's not necessarily an action tonight, it's more that they wanted to come back and, as they indicated they would, and share with you, and whether you have the support, if you are just even by voice vote indicating that you would be supportive of us trying to go to bid and see what bids we actually receive.
Way to go, guys. That's awesome.
Yeah. You have a motion for,
Do they need a voice
That
vote,
was just-
Martina, or is it not
That was
even that,
an
just,
up-
okay?
update.
sorry?
That was just an update. There's
Yep.
no,
Okay, well, they were talking something about a voice vote.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
me, I was, not needed.
Okay, so we're done with that one. Going to staff and council reports. Gonna start with the city planner this time.
Was there anything else? Like, did we get the blessing to move forward?
No,
Yeah.
we'll work on the bid now.
Yeah, yeah,
You
no, that's
provided the
what I mean, yeah.
update.
Yeah.
It's, we feel that
Yeah.
it may fall under budget,
Yep.
so yeah, we'll move
Okay.
forward with that
All right,
piece.
cool. All right, thank you.
Just want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July and a good upcoming weekend. Thank you.
Engineer,
I have no additional report. Thank you.
building and zoning,
No additional report, thank you.
street department,
No additional report, just wish everybody a happy 4th.
police department,
Nothing additional. Thank you, ma'am.
fire department,
Nothing to report, ma'am. Thank you.
parks and rec.
Yeah, there was one thing I forgot to tell you about the 4th of July. We are doing a dunk tank, and I am first. So at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, if you want to come dunk me, I don't think any of you can hit the target, but, no, just kidding.
You still need volunteers?
Yeah, we actually do.
okay.
So the proceeds to that, there is a cost to buying the balls to throw at us. That's the only thing that there will be a cost, but that goes to support Christmas Smiles. So it's just something we added just to try to support Christmas Smiles. But I'm in it, and then Dave Stevens, Mr. Carpenter over here signed up, and our deputy chief from fire signed up as well. So we're still looking for more, if anybody wants to do it. Thank you.
I was gonna ask what, I know we got the shirts, what?
Oh, okay.
What are we looking at as far as, what do you need from us for that night, for July 4th?
Really nothing, just tell as many people as you know to come help, support it. I know the Parks Board's gonna be in the information tent with us, so they're already gonna, that's kind of the help that we usually ask for. We don't typically come to you guys, but if there's something that you ever wanna do, yeah, let us know, we'll find something. Dunk tank. if you want. No.
I'll look over that email from Dia and see where I can fit in there.
All right.
Yeah, I was kind of
Maybe I can talk
expecting
Mike
that
into
maybe
it.
there would be a request for council to
Back to
volunteer.
back.
Yeah, I thought of it.
Clerk of council,
I have nothing, thank you.
Director,
No report, thank you, ma'am.
acting finance director,
I have nothing extra.
city manager,
I have no items, thank you.
I have nothing else, thank you.
Allen,
Nothing further.
Mrs. Witt, nothing further, thank you. Mr. Miller,
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Doherty,
Nothing further, thank you.
Mr. Burchett,
No report, thank you.
Okay, so at this time, we will adjourn to executive session at 6:43 with no business to follow.